Hi, I'm Robin.
And I'm Chris. Together we're the Gen X couple.
Hey guys.
Take one. Hello, everyone.
Welcome back. We're so happy to have you here. And tonight we wanted to talk about something kind of cool. We're stepping into a place that literally millions of people pass through every year, yet most of them truly don't understand the depth and mystery of the place, which is the Boston Common. It's America's oldest public park. It was established in 1634, and it's a space where centuries of history intersect with folklore, tragedy, and for some, the unexplained. Also, for some, rats. Literally, I'm talking about rats. We walked through there.
We have seen a rat there.
I've seen rats there several times, but do you remember the last time? I think it was in December, the last time we walked through there. And we saw a big rat on the corner, and we ran. And I don't run, you guys. I ran. I'm sorry, they're disgusting. I ran. Christian had to run to keep up with me. We're old. It was a whole scene, but we escaped the rats.
Yeah, she left me in the dust.
Yeah,
She left the rats to me.
Yeah, sorry. Survival of the fittest. But anyway, we've taken a few ghost tours and stuff through the Boston Common, so we're going to tell you a few of those stories tonight or today. This gets published in the middle of the night. I don't even know why I have it set that way. It comes out at like 2 a.m. But anyway, we're still on me. So you look like you're about to say something, but I still have a paragraph. I just got off topic. What some people, or most people, see as a patch of green in the middle of a bustling city, a place to picnic, jog, or walk, or go play the guitar, or sing, or do sketches for $1, or whatever. Beneath that lawn lies an entire world of buried stories, hidden tunnels, and ghostly legends that few ever even think about. So today, we're going to peel back a few of those layers.
Now, the Boston Common didn't start out as a park in the way we think of it as today. In the 1600s, it was pasture land for cattle and sheep, a shared resource maintained by the community, and every household contributed to its upkeep. And the land doubled as a militia training ground, which would later become a significant area during the Revolutionary War.
It sounded like you said training gown instead of ground.
Ground. So even at this early stage, it wasn't neutral territory. Native Americans had used the area long before colony settlers arrived, and
colonial.
Early encounters between settlers and local tribes added a layer of history that some claim still resonates, especially near the northern edge of the Common, right by Tremont Street.
Yeah. And by the 1700s, the Common had taken on more solemn roles. It was a site for public executions, including that of Rachel Wall. And she was a woman who was tried and executed for piracy in 1789. Wall is remembered as one of the last women legally executed in Massachusetts, and her story has become part of the local ghost lore. It's wild to me that they even executed people publicly like that. But folklore says that near the old execution... I pulled a Christian. Folklore says that near the old execution sites, which are believed to have been along the southern edge of the Common, visitors sometimes feel sudden chills, hear footsteps when no one is around, or see shadows moving just beyond their line of sight.
Now, there are multiple burial layers beneath the Common, too. In the late 19th century, during the construction of the Tremont Street Subway, America's first underground transit system, where workers unearthed thousands of human remains. Skulls, femurs, ribs, and other bones were found as crews dug beneath the eastern edge, now what is near Boylston Station.
Yeah, that's the corner closest to the theater district if you're local.
And eyewitness accounts from newspapers of the day describe crates filled with bones stacked along the work site. Some workers reportedly refused to continue digging after encountering particularly dense clusters of remains. These were interred at the central burying ground. Through records were incomplete, leaving many questions about exactly who was buried there.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we've been on a ghost tour there,
Mm-hmm.
and the train station that I use, Park Street, which is right on the other side corner of the common, they say that's haunted, but I go through it every day and I don't see anything.
Yeah, but I think it's bustling when you go through there.
It is.
I think if you're going through there, I don't know what time the T stops running, but if you're going through there at 2 a.m., I'm sure it's an entirely different vibe down in the subway station, of which I won't even step foot.
Well, hopefully we're never up at that ungodly hour.
I wouldn't step foot in a subway station any time of the day. It's just not who I am as a person. But if Boylston Street is haunted, if that's where they found all the remains, there's also remains at Park Street. It's right there. It's like a quarter of a mile up the road. So yeah, it's all haunted. But anyway, some of these remains likely belong to early settlers, and we're talking about the ones they found down by the Boylston station. So they probably did belong to early settlers, children, and victims of epidemics. Others might have been Revolutionary War soldiers or British soldiers captured and buried in unmarked graves. Paranormal enthusiasts suggest that these disturbed remains have contributed to the sightings and strange phenomena reported in the tunnels and the park above.
And speaking of the tunnels, the Tremont Street Subway itself has a history of unexplained occurrences. Subway workers late at night report sudden chills, shadowy figures, and apparitions, often described as British redcoat soldiers marching silently along the tracks. Some claim these apparitions appear in maintenance corridors where the old brickwork from the 1890s remains intact.
Didn't they tell us on a ghost tour that we took that there were a couple of train drivers that won't even drive to that station anymore because they've seen some stuff?
Once they've seen something, they all put in for a transfer.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
And there's reports of unseen forces knocking off equipment, flashlights dying, recordings picking up faint whispers, and they don't correspond to any physical presence of anyone working in the area.
Yeah, crazy. Above ground, other parts of the common are linked to ghost stories too. The Frog Pond area, for instance, is frequently cited by paranormal investigators, which I had no idea until I started doing research for this. You know the Frog Pond where
that's ice skating? Children's location.
Yeah, it is. It's a splash
pad.
I wouldn't call it a splash pad because it's got like a foot of water, so it's like a wading pool sort of thing.
Kids still playing in it.
Yeah, it's for kids. It's to cool off in the summer, and then it has ice skating in the winter. But yeah, it's for kids, and I didn't realize that part was, although it makes sense, but I didn't realize that part was plagued with paranormal activity until I started researching this. But it makes sense. The paranormal investigators often describe sudden drops in temperature, fleeting shadows, or figures that appear and vanish near the water's edge. Some speculate that these are residual energies from the burials and executions that occurred nearby, or even echoes from the colonial era militia drills.
Now, another hot spot is the Parkman Bandstand. It was built in the 19th century. It's a place where many public gatherings and speeches have taken place. Ghost hunters reported seeing ghostly figures in period clothing walking near the bandstand at night, sometimes vanishing when approached, and others hear faint music like a drum or a fife, which some believe is connected to the old militia exercises that once took place in this part of the park.
Yeah, and don't forget the Brewer Fountain near the Tremont Street border of the park. People walking at night have reported seeing a fleeting figure reflected in the water. Let's go find it next time we walk by there. And they see this even when there's no one else around. Paranormal tour guides suggest this could be tied to the layered history of the common from the so basically tied to the executions, to the buried remains of the early protesters who may have gathered there.
And the folklore doesn't stop there. Some stories include ghostly children, sometimes linked to the burials of young settlers or undocumented children from the 17th and 18th centuries. Witnesses have claimed to see small figures darting among the trees or hearing laughter in areas where there is no one.
Yeah, we've walked through there many times, and we haven't seen one thing that's been off, but maybe we haven't looked as hard as we should. Although it's crowded. Whenever we're there, it's so crowded in the common. Even if you walk through there at like 11 o'clock at night, it's hopping. There's always people there walking by, so maybe they don't come out until it's more quiet. But there are also rumors of hidden tunnels used during Prohibition. Smugglers allegedly used passageways to move alcohol from nearby speakeasies or warehouses into the city without being seen. And while there's no concrete documentation that these tunnels actually exist, they tie into reports from urban explorers who have discovered abandoned sealed corridors and service passageways, and some date back all the way to the 19th century subway construction.
And also during World War II and the Cold War, parts of the common were reportedly used for civil defense bunkers. These were intended as protection against potential air raids. And though most are sealed today, some urban legends suggest that there are still accessible chambers that haven't been fully mapped.
Can't they use ground penetrating radar or something to find those? You know, like they do on Oak Island?
Yep.
Just saying, if they really wanted to find it, I bet they could. But we should also talk about British soldier sightings in the subway.
Yes.
Accounts often describe figures in full redcoat uniforms appearing near the tracks or in the tunnels late at night. Some suggest that these are residual hauntings, and what that means is that it's a memory that is just replaying over time. Like, these ghosts don't realize they're dead, so their ghost just keeps replaying in the same scene night after night after night because they can't move on. But, I mean, it could be a more dramatic manifestation tied to the Revolutionary War history of the area.
Now, see, even local transit workers are weighing in, and some of them have claimed to have seen shadows move across tunnels when no one else was present, or hearing marching sounds echoing through the maintenance corridors.
That's terrifying.
Some skeptics point to train vibrations, wind, and psychological suggestion. The frequency of these reports is what keeps the legend alive.
I'm sorry, you know the difference between, like, your body knows if it's something paranormal or if it's something like a train vibration. I'm sorry. These people who have claimed to witness it, they're experiencing something. But anyway, so speaking of the psychological side, the Boston Common has been a site of tragedy, joy, protest, and military activity for centuries. Some theorists say that places with dense human history like that, especially with a lot of suffering or death, have a higher likelihood of residual energy being perceived by modern visitors. The energy never really leaves. When we die, the energy has to go somewhere.
That's physics.
Exactly. Thank you.
So another area is the southern edge of the common, near the old execution sites and the central burial ground.
That's on the Boylston Street side, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is often reported to be heavier in feeling. Paranormal investigators describe unexplained heaviness in the air, low-frequency sounds, and cold spots that seem to defy natural explanation.
Yeah, many locals and visitors report that walking in the common at night can evoke an eerie sense of being watched. I've never had that, have you?
No.
No. Just rats. The rats have watched us. And this happens to them, supposedly, even when the park appears empty. Some ghost stories complain that people have felt hands on their shoulders, I would die, whispers in their ears, or fleeting glimpses of figures in colonial dress only to find no one was there.
And all these experiences are compounded by the fact that the Tremont Street Subway runs directly beneath much of the eastern edge of the common. The combination of buried bones, execution history, hidden tunnels, and urban legend creates a unique setting where fact and folklore intertwine.
And of course, many of these are unverified, but they're compelling. Paranormal tour guides will tell tales of apparitions interacting with modern objects like benches moving slightly or shadows passing over lampposts or lights flickering without electrical cause. And while there's no proof really that these stories are repeated widely enough to be considered part of the commons modern mythology.
And everyday visitors sometimes report odd experiences. A tourist might walk past the frog pond and feel a sudden chill or a fleeting silhouette out of the corner of their eye. Some people feel inexplainably sad or anxious in certain parts of the park, which many locals attribute to the layers of history embedded in the park.
Yeah, if you're ever in the area, take a ghost tour. They're actually really cool, and you'll get a lot of cool information. And actually, we have an episode coming up shortly. I have it written out, and it was based on something we heard on the tour. It was about Edgar Allan Poe. Do you remember that story?
Yes.
Yes, we have a whole episode dedicated to that coming up soon. But yeah, it's interesting and scary. Although we haven't had any experiences, but there are rats, and those are real, and we've seen them.
So the next time you visit the Boston Common, take a moment to consider what lies beneath your feet, beneath the grass, beneath the benches and paths that are centuries of human stories. Bones moved during subway construction, ghosts of executed criminals, deaths of revolutionary soldiers, children, and countless ordinary Bostonians whose lives have left subtle echoes behind.
Yeah, I think on one of the ghost tours, didn't they say that they found over 10,000 sets of remains under the Boston Common?
Yes.
And there's probably still more under there.
Yeah.
And they're probably mad because they've been disturbed. So, just saying. I'm going to be on the lookout the next time we go. And yeah, that's it, you guys. I hope you guys found this interesting. Don't forget to follow us, blah, blah, blah. Again, I stink at updating social media, so don't expect too much.
All right. See you later, alligator.
In a wild crocodile.